Got a show.
So in the 20 odd shows roughly that I host during this month of Ramadan, before I move on, one of the privileges I get is to bring this feature called champion spotting into the space, because it's completely aligned to my own vision at Champion South Africa to build a champion nation, and to do that you have to effectively build the champions that build the champion nation. And one of the starting points of that is to identify those champions, or those that are building those champions. And therefore, well, what I do is champion spotting. So in this case, Pepe Marais and his company Joe Public, well, they've been champion spotted. And let's find out why. Pepe, appreciate your time. Good morning.
Morning, Ashraf. Been a while. Lovely to speak to you.
Too long, absolutely. Let's talk about. I'm fascinated by this. Of course, we've chatted privately about it, but let's talk about the 25 for 25. What? Give us some background. Not everybody knows who Joe Public is.
So we founded an advertising agency, a communication group now, founded in 1998. So it's our 25th birthday, and we looked at the cost for a proper big party, because it is something to celebrate, and we realized it doesn't make sense to spend that amount of money on a one-night party in the context of South Africa's challenges, one of them being youth employment. And that's what we decided, it's part of our purpose for our country. So instead of a party, let's create bursaries for the next 25 years.
Okay, so out with the party, in with the bursaries. Many may say that's a very unpopular decision, right? What was the response from your employees, from the team that makes up Joe Public, and for those that don't know, the leading agency in South Africa?
I think everyone was naturally supportive of it, because it's logical, it's the right thing to do, and it's aligned to our purpose. And it's not like we don't have enough very good parties within our agency. We celebrate Luries every year. We celebrate the end of year every year. So it's not as if we're giving up that much. We're just creating a pool of money that can appropriate better.
And so in practical terms, therefore, what is it that you're doing?
So it's going to be 100,000 Rand per year for the next 25 years, which we're putting. So we made quite a conscious decision to rather go deep than broad. Often we try and help a lot of people. Then we don't have success at that level. So we're going with fewer people, supporting them over longer periods of time with bursaries, but also then supporting them with all the private costs that no one ever looks at, especially when you look at underprivileged people, like how do you pay for your food, for your transportation, for your accommodation. So there's part of the fund, and we'll go for full tuition per year, but the other part on top of that will actually go for support. And then we've also built mentors into our business to mentor these youngsters, so that when we get them through 3 years, we can take them straight into our agency and actually really land them well. And if we look back, hopefully in years to come, we would have created leaders in our industry, and not just the entry level.
Well, I think that's really important. I mean, first of all, your point about the additional expenses, and that's the thrust of the latest student protest. That one thing is getting accepted at a varsity, but the issues of accommodation, the issues of food, the issues of things like Wi-Fi, the middle class takes absolutely for granted. But it is a huge issue for people that doesn't have it. So I'm glad that you've addressed that. Right. So two things there: is the 100,000 rands for one student for a year, or for one student for 3 years? And then you're saying, if I can hear you correctly, that there would be people in the marketing and communication space, because that's a space you're in, right?
Yeah, so it's for students in the creative space, because we're also struggling with diversity in the creative space, because often parents think it's much more, your child's going to be more successful just becoming a doctor, lawyer, and an engineer, which is not necessarily true. This creative industry you can be very successful in this industry as a creative. So it's for creative people into the industry. And Ashraf, you're quite right. It's actually 200,000 per year when you look at the bursary for the child's tuition, and then doubling up for the expenses. It's as expensive. So over a 3-year period, it will be quite a hefty investment into each individual. But we're going to ensure that we choose them correctly, so from underprivileged, but with the right level of talent, so potential, so we're spotting potential, but they have to come from really dire backgrounds. Because for me, that's true transformation. When
Yeah, I
when
look at something you and I have spoken about often enough that
oh,
that we don't transform society, we're never going to fully transform the country. So grassroots is really where it absolutely matters. It does. What has been the response so far? Because I'm thinking now, if there's a call out, what's the funnel where the call out takes place? Put it this way: if the call out is only done in and I've seen your adverts in some newspapers, but if the call out is done in, say, Houghton, Johannesburg, then you're only going to get a response from people in Houghton, Johannesburg, which already restricts the diversity that you talk about, right?
yeah. So the big press, obviously, we're ad agency, so we got very good rates from the big press. I'm not going to mention any sort of actual rates, but it was kind of our birthday present to us from them. But that was more just to inspire other businesses that we should all do as much as we can do. We can look towards government, but we also have our role to play. So that was more just to inspire other businesses and show what we're doing. In terms of finding the right people, I'm personally working with the Red and Yellow School of Advertising, and we go out. And so I've been approached as well through what the people have heard in the news. But I go out once a year, and we go look for like a pool of talent in the grassroots. We go physically out and go and find the people.
Okay, that's fascinating, and I think it's really important. Yeah, perhaps maybe here's the point, right? Knowing, I mean, you're very much this purpose-driven advocate, and we at Champion South Africa Speaks, and we're going to launch this new campaign coming up soon about the national purpose as opposed to the personal purpose, right? It does maybe just leave me with this important issue, right? In terms of where we are as a country, and what role should business, big business, small business, community leaders, what role should we be doing in terms of achieving the South Africa we want to live in?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer, Ashraf. We can sit and keep on pointing finger at the government, and we have got problems there. That's completely obvious. But at the end, then we're just sitting on the sidelines. So I think it's the duty of every single private business to do more. I think when we're making good profits, it should not just be funneled to the shareholders. We are all stakeholders in our country, and we should be doing more. I'm not saying as shareholders we shouldn't make our fair return, but sometimes that return is quite ludicrous. And I think as business we can do more without feeding that much in our personal pockets. So it's just an effort for all of us to do more.
And I'll give you 30 seconds to just give the reply to this question. What then is your purpose, Pepe Marais?
My personal purpose or the business purpose?
Well, maybe both. Personal purpose, business purpose. Quickly, yeah.
So my personal purpose is to bring out the best in the people around me. It obviously starts with myself as a leader. So I've got huge room for growth there. And I'm constantly working on that because I know that that's how I can affect people through my own behavior. And then the purpose of our business is to be the fertile soil that serves the growth of our people, our clients, and our country. And hence this pillar perfectly, this initiative perfectly fulfills that.
And therefore we must be inspired by that, and therefore you and your company, Pepe Marais and Joe Public, have been spotted in this champion spotting feature. Pepe, appreciate your time. Feel free, by the way, in the ongoing journey, as you're well aware of, to even tag Champion South Africa as well, so that we can amplify the intakes as and when they come, and the call out for further intakes, because I think this is transformational, and we need to be side by side on this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ashraf. Cheers.
Okay, there we are. Pepe Marais, the co-founder of the ad agency, or the communications agency, Joe Public, the number one, in fact, in the country. And they have done something quite different. Instead of having a massive birthday party to celebrate 25 years of existence, they committed to 25 people over 25 years with an absolute commitment to changing their lives, not just paying for the bursaries and some form of education in terms of the creative industry, but to support them with other forms of expenses like foods and perhaps accommodation and a whole lot more. That is transformational. That's the type of champions we need to be talking about. So let me put this to you. If you know someone, a person or an institute or a company that are doing some work that will transform society and build South Africa from where we are into a champion nation, even one brick at a time, then I want to know about it. So drop me a WhatsApp, 061 766 0355, or place your comments at the bottom of any of the social media pages of Salam Media, or in fact just message me directly. You'll find me on all the social media platforms. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it from you. Let's talk about that feature we called My First Ramadan, and then we'll wrap up the show by looking at the Blue Mosque in Turkey right after this.